Manny Pacquiao takes on Yordenis Ugas this weekend to defend his WBA Welterweight title. It's of course the full version of the welterweight title, or the WBA title rather, the only WBA title that actually means anything. This fight is a dangerous fight, in my opinion. It's just as dangerous as the Errol Spence fight, maybe even more so. Manny Pacquiao is 42 years old and has been out of the ring for 2 years. And that was, of course, a major factor going into the Errol Spence fight. But with Spence, there was the uncertainty. Spence was, of course, on the road to recovery. Despite beating Danny Garcia in December, there was still a lot of uncertainty regarding how long it would take Errol Spence, if he was ever able to get back to his former self. In that fight, Errol Spence he looked weird, he looked off. He admitted he wasn't 100%, and you could see it. He looked weaker, his muscles looked smaller and more atrophied, his legs looked stiff, and he's a mechanical fighter anyway, but he looked even more so in that fight. Yordenis Ugas, on the other hand, is 7 years Manny Pacquiao's senior. He's 35 years old and he's been active. He's fought 4 times in the past 2 years against a good level of opposition. So he's ring sharp. He's a bit of a strange fighter, Yordenis Ugas. He's quite big for the weight. He's immensely strong. Just ask Sean Porter. You can see in that fight, Sean Porter at times almost gets manhandled. He gets so easily shut down and his strength is nullified by Ugas. So Ugas is tremendously strong. I think he is a harder puncher than his record suggests, especially with the right hand. He's very sharp on the counter, even though his punching technique leaves a bit to be desired. It can be a little bit crude at times, but nevertheless, very sharp counter. And he's very calm. When you watch Ugas's fights, look at the expression on his face when he's tracking an opponent down, even when he's engaging, when he's throwing his punches at opponents. Very calm. There's almost no expression on his face. You can tell this is a very experienced fighter, someone who has probably been boxing their entire life. I don't know that much about Ugas in terms of his backstory, but you can see this is a fighter through and through. Stylistically, you can obviously tell there is a considerable size advantage that Ugas has over Pacquiao, and I think this will play quite a large part in the fight. Manny Pacquiao is an explosive fighter. He is a quick fighter, not as much as he used to be back in the day. These days we see Pacquiao, he fights in a bit more of a reserved manner. He elects to pick and poke and really try and plan his offense out and set it up with feints and probing shots, which is of course a hallmark of a good, intelligent fighter. But it's the output from Pacquiao is not what it used to be. He still has power and he can still hurt fighters. Ask Lucas Matisse, ask Keith Thurman. But with Pacquiao, I don't think he's in the business of taking punishment and being in tough fights. But I believe this is the kind of fight that Ugas is going to present Pacquiao with. I can see the fight following a pattern of Ugas coming out straight away, looking to close the distance down on Pacquiao and impose himself on Pacquiao and really pressure the Pac-Man. Try back him up to the ropes and out-strength him, outman him, and try and really dog Pacquiao out of the fight. Now, Pacquiao does have dog, no question. You don't get to the stage and amass the career that Pacquiao has not having dog. But he's an older man, and as I said, I don't think he's trying to ship that punishment that maybe he would have taken on earlier in his career. So I think Pacquiao is going to employ a bit more mobility and look to try and pick off Yordenis Ugas when Ugas is out of position. And this may seem as if Pacquiao will just wait for Ugas, but when it comes to Ugas, he has a strange style. If you look at his stance, a lot of the weight is on his front foot, on his lead leg. And even though he is tremendously sharp on the counter, he doesn't always he has this tendency to stay on that front foot even after he's throwing his punches, and he can get caught after attempting and landing his own offense. And so I think Pacquiao will try to do that, but in a conservative manner. I think Pacquiao's going to try and minimize the engagements that he has with Ugas. So by doing that, he'll be moving laterally around the ring. But then he's going to have to go through the firing line of Ugas, because Ugas, I think it's obvious he has a much longer reach than Pacquiao. So that means his range of offense goes out further. So Pacquiao needs to kind of be in an all or nothing state where he's out of range of Ugas, but then only engages when Pacquiao has a chance at landing his own shots. He's going to have to, in my mind, I think he's going to have to take some punishment from Ugas to get into range. I don't see this being a fight where Ugas elects to go backwards. I think he will just try and steamroll Pacquiao, but not at fast pace, at quite a steady but relentless pace, a consistent pace. And so Pacquiao will probably have to dispense with the combinations and stick to ones, twos, maybe threes, and then get back on his bike and have to kind of bamboozle Ugas a little bit. But Ugas is so sharp, I can't see Pacquiao getting away with it without taking some shots. And for that reason, I can see this being a very close fight, a fight that goes the distance. I think it'll go the full 12 rounds. I don't think a stoppage is, for either man, is out of the question, but I just don't see this fight ending in a stoppage. See it going points, and I see Manny Pacquiao maybe winning by a split decision or a majority decision. I think this is going to be a fight where Yordenis Ugas gets in some good work, some very solid, clean punches, and maybe even makes Pacquiao look like he's on the brink of being stopped at times. But I don't think Ugas is going to get the rub of the green from the judges. He is an unheralded contender. And it's really, when you think about it, there's not much upside for Pacquiao in this fight. Because if Pacquiao beats Yordenis Ugas, he beats a fighter that has never been world champion, has fought for the title, but never become a champion, and to the wider boxing public is, as I say, an unheralded contender. But then if he loses to Ugas, once again, he loses to an unheralded contender. So credit to both men for taking this fight, especially Pacquiao, because he's already solidified a Hall of Fame resume, and he's taking on fighters who are dangerous but don't really offer him much reward. So, but for that reason, I think the benefit of the doubt will be in Pacquiao's favour. I see Pacquiao winning, as I say, by split decision or majority decision, but there will probably be a sizable contingent of people that feel that Yordenis Ugas wins the fight, and they probably have a legitimate claim to think so. So that's my take on this fight. Manny Pacquiao, 12-round split decision or majority decision, one of the two. Let me know what you think of this fight in the comment section below. Leave your comments, I'll get back to you. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff is greatly appreciated. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next video.